Even Tom Brady has to know that, at some point, time is coming for him. Stephen Senne, Associated Press, by Cindy Boren September 6 at 1:45 p.m. Tom Brady came as close as probably ever will to publicly describing his feelings about whatever drama was occurring with the New England Patriots last season, admitting that relationships ebb and flow. According to an ESPN bombshell report, the presence of his trainer health food guru business partner caused a rift among players and between Brady and coach Bill Belichick. There were rumblings when backup presumed heir apparent Jimmy Garoppolo was traded, and, clearly, there was disgruntlement of some sort between Brady and Belichick, with owner Robert Kraft intervening after the season. In the installment of his Tom vs. Time series that landed Wednesday, Brady talked about how a lot of parts about football weren't much fun. "If I'm going to do something at this point, it's going to be because I enjoy it," Brady said in a voiceover in the epilogue to a series that is part documentary, part diary. The last couple years, a lot of parts about football weren't enjoyable when they should have been. Some of it was my approach. And I think any time you are together with people for a long period of time, relationships ebb and flow. Epilogue After 18 years in the NFL, Tom Brady has done it all. Now, after an off-season spent in search of his conviction, Tom looks ahead to his 19th season at age 41. Win or lose, Tom's mind is always on the next game. Posted by Tom vs. Time on Wednesday, September 5, 2018. His coach for all of his 19 NFL seasons has been Belichick and Brady, now 41, sounds a little weary coming off an MVP 2017 season and dispiriting Super Bowl loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think people, journalists and commentators, are just looking for something to write and talk about. They want to talk about a lot of drama, he said in the episode, filmed in August. "I'm sure a lot of teams have things like that, but ours is just to the 10th degree. I'm learning to deal with it better. I don't still give a expletive that much anymore about anything. I think a lot about keeping things in perspective, like nothing is that big a deal to me anymore. And maybe I'm just caring about certain things that really matter, like my family, like people's health, like life and death. To worry about a lot of expletive that people may say or think or feel, like, I really don't care anymore." He makes it clear, though, that he does still care about winning and playing football until he's 45, something he admits is going to be very hard to do. And that means that he is likely going to be tied to Belichick for the rest of his career. As for Belichick, he sounded almost avuncular in relating a story about Brady's legendary competitiveness. "One story I think really sums it up for Tom is when we playing at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. We were in the same group," he said on Ian Rapoport's recent Rap Sheet Plus Friends podcast. "And we were on the 6th hole, which is a long par 5, and it goes up a big hill, and the ocean is on the right, and the fairway kind of falls off to the right, and most of us golfers are little slicers anyways, so a lot of balls end up over there, in or by the ocean. So there we are playing in a pro-am tournament, where, as an amateur, if you hit a bad shot you don't really worry about it, you play the pros ball anyways, that's what you have him for. There's not a ton of pressure on the amateurs, because you have a good player with you who probably is going to make a par on almost every hole and birdie a few. So Tom hit one, his second shot, over to the right, and I see a starting quarterback, a Super Bowl MVP, a league MVP literally hanging over the side of the cliff probably 200-300 feet above the ocean trying to hit a golf ball. That's a pretty meaningless shot, because the pro already is going to do better than he would on the hole. But that's Tom, he's very competitive, very focused. Plays kind of fearlessly, whether it's in this case on the golf course, or on the football field.